We're doing it again, guys, viewer submitted cocktails. We've gotten so many submissions that we decided to kind of group these cocktails in themes. And today we are doing cocktails based on popular movies and actors. We are gonna be making these amazing cocktails. So the first cocktail that we're doing today is called a Clockwork Orange. It was created by Marko Dizdarevic. I think I'm saying that right. I hope I'm saying that right. If not, you can tell me about it in the comments. And his inspiration behind this cocktail was just that he was drunk. That's literally what it said in the summary is ... I was drunk ... So obviously the Stanley Kubrick movie is the inspiration for this cocktail, and that movie was based on the 1962 Anthony Burgess novel of the same name. The novel is a dystopian black comedy set in a near future society that has a subculture, a youth subculture of extreme violence, and it's narrated by the protagonist. His name is Alex and his droogs, and he basically just details all of the violent acts that he commits and then his experiences with the authorities that are hell-bent on reforming him. This cocktail is a pretty simple one. It is just kind of like your basic sour. So first thing we're gonna do is crush up our lemon, and we need ½ ounce of lemon juice, ½ ounce of lime juice, 3/4 ounce of simple syrup, ½ ounce of Cointreau, and that's what he calls for specifically. So if you do this with orange curacao or some other orange liqueur, it might be a little bit sweeter. 1 ounce of vodka. I don't know if he knows this, but he called for a couple of peels of orange into the tin. And that, as we know, is called a Regal shake. Yeah. So the Regal shake is just a way to express more orange flavor into something by utilizing the oils in the peel without necessarily having to put more orange juice or put any orange juice in there for that matter. And so he's driving up the orange flavor profile, which is really nice. I think this is gonna go good. The only thing about this drink originally that he did that I'm gonna change a little bit is that he says a bar spoon of vanilla sugar. But since I know that there's an ounce of like citrus in here and there's 3/4 ounce of simple syrup, I don't wanna put another bar spoon of sugar in here to get that vanilla flavor because I think it's going to make it overly sweet, especially with the Cointreau, which is not unsweet. So what I decided to do is I'm just gonna do a little dash of vanilla extract here. Just a little tiny dash of it. It's pretty powerful. It'll go a long way. I think the vanilla flavor is gonna be really nice in this with the orange. It's gonna give it kind of a creamsicle vibe. This is a pinch measure. Now he says to muddle, and so I got the muddler, but normally I wouldn't muddle, but because this is an egg white cocktail, I'm going to muddle it just because there's not gonna be a lot of ice in there to express the oil from the peel. Usually when you do a Regal shake, you just put ice in there and the ice hits the peel and kind of does the expressing for you, but I'm just gonna give it a little muddle real quick to express those oils. All right, and then we're gonna add our egg white into the other tin. Oh, it looks like there's like a dual egg yolk in here. Oh. Look at that. See it? I don't want to mess around and get egg yolk in my drink, but
there were like twins in there. Twin chickens.
What's that?
Twin chickens.
Yeah, exactly. And then we're just going to give this a dry shake. So we're putting our one big rock into the tin, smearing that into there. Double strain into our glass. Did it say anything interesting on garnish? Let's take a look. Nope, nothing on garnish as far as I know. So to do an orange disc, you just cut a little circle with the knife, express the oils again, and we'll just place it like so. Let's taste the old sippy though, huh? It tastes like an orange creamsicle. That's exactly what it tastes like. And what I like about it is that actually with the muddling of the peel, you get a little bit of the bitterness of the peel. The pith is providing a little bit of orange bitterness. We get this nice bright orange flavor, and the lemon and lime together kind of give it a nice complexity. It's a little bit sweeter. It's got a nice tartness from the lime juice. You've got a little simple syrup balancing that all out. It's a very simple cocktail. You get a little bit of that vanilla with the orange, which is obviously its main flavor profile. And I gotta say, it's a really nicely constructed cocktail. So there it is, the Clockwork Orange. So the next cocktail up is called the Bela Lugosi. It was created by bartender Patricio Garcia for his bar, the Sidecar Speakeasy in Hollywood, I keep on wanting to say California, but it's Hollywood, Florida. Bela Lugosi was an Hungarian-American film actor who was best known for portraying Dracula in 1931. But this dude, from his film debut in 1917 all the way to his very last film, the year he died in 1956, he did like 40 movies a year. He was like the go-to monster guy. And the thing that Marius found out, which is actually a really cool piece of information, is that he was in a 1959 movie called Plan 9 from Outer Space, and he played the Ghoul Man, and that was achieved by using archival footage of him, which is pretty cool. Alrighty, let's get into making the cocktail as we do. So, first thing we are going to do is 1 ounce of pineapple juice, half an ounce of agave syrup, half an ounce of lemon juice, 1 ounce of Fernet Branca, 1 ounce of mezcal. Fill our shaker with ice, and then marry our cocktail in, give it a nice hard shake. You want to make sure to give it a nice hard shake because you want to really, really aerate that pineapple. I can smell it coming out of the tin. It smells so good. That Fernet and pineapple, I think it's going to make a really good flavor buddy. They're gonna make good flavor buddies, those two. Nice, nicely specced out. I like that, I like that. For our garnish, he has a very interesting little technique that he does. I'm gonna move this to the side so you guys can see. He cuts a lemon, like so, puts it upside down in a jigger. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna coat this in sugar, kind of like a disc shape. To this, we are going to add a few dashes of Angostura bitters, just to coat the sugar. This is the first time I'm trying to do this. I know how it works, so hopefully I did it properly. We're gonna take a blowtorch and we're going to caramelize the sugar bitters solution. You wanna really boil it. It's creating a disc.
So the lemon is not functional.
Yes, lemon's done after what we do to it. I mean, unless you wanna eat it, like a nice bitters soaked lemon. Let's take a sip while we wait for that thing. See if we did it correctly. Maybe we put too much bitters. I don't know, we can try it again. That is freaking-tastic. I gotta let that flavor sit with me for a second. That is just so good. So the Fernet and the mezcal mixed with the pineapple is so fantastic. It's such a good flavor profile. And then you have a little bit of lemon to balance out the sweetness, and you've got a little bit of agave. And what I like about the agave is that it's got a more sort of warmer flavor than sugar, which has a more sharp flavor. See, I started saying warm as opposed to savory, even though I still kind of feel like it's a savory vibe, but it's a warmer flavor. It's a warmer style of sweetness. And so it mixes really well together. This is a fantastic drink. It is expertly specced out. We got a really nice cocktail out of it. It's got a nice foam on top. It kind of reminds me of a color that, I don't know, this kind of says Bela Lugosi a little bit, doesn't it? Am I being like, you know, it's like a little bit dark and mysterious.
Maybe.
As Bela Lugosi would be. Okay, so here we go. So then what you do is we've kind of made this sort of sugar disc by caramelizing the sugar, melting it, and then putting it together. And then what you do is you just place that on the side of the glass. He says place it on the side of the glass. Like that, like so. There you go, dude. That's pretty good. There it is, guys. The Bela Lugosi with a bruleed sugar Angostura garnish.
Disc.
A bruleed Angostura sugar garnish.
Disc.
Oh, sorry. A bruleed sugar Angostura disc garnish. There you go. Better. All right. The Bela Lugosi. So the next cocktail we're doing today is called the Jack Sparrow, and it was submitted to us by a viewer named Christoph Sanders. He didn't create this cocktail. He found it at a bar called Neo in Palma de Mallorca, Spain, and has told us that a bartender named Valentina has created the cocktail. We don't know what her whole name is. If anyone knows her, see us in the comments and give us some more details. We'd love to know it. Now, I'm not going to regale you with the plot of Pirates of the Caribbean, even though I've always kind of want to say a little bit about the inspiration behind cocktails, but I'm pretty sure most of you guys have watched the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, or at least are aware of them. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is 2 ounces of pineapple juice, a scant 3/4, so just under the line of simple syrup, and a scant 3/4 of lemon juice. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a passion fruit and we're gonna cut it in half. And we're gonna take all that lovely stuff in the middle here. Now, I'm not sure this is what he meant about passion fruit, but the thing is that the directions called for 20 mils of passion fruit, but didn't say syrup, didn't say puree, but we're gonna reserve this and use it in the cocktail. And so Marius came up with the sort of sensible kind of notion that if we're using this, then we should probably just scoop it out. So that's what we decided to do, so that we wouldn't be, because it's weird to be like passion fruit syrup or passion fruit puree, do 20 mils of that, then scoop out the innards of the passion fruit and discard it and then use the shell. So we are gonna be using this in the cocktail. We're adding the passion fruit in. Hopefully we did that correctly. I don't really know though. And then we're just gonna do 2 ounces of Kraken rum, which I have never tasted before. And I don't know much about it. So we're gonna have to do something on it at some point.
I'm sure we have one. Maybe not.
Crack our egg.
Cracking our egg.
Cracking the old eggy. Add this into that. Whip shake it. Then we're gonna add a little Big Rock ice. I said a little Big Rock ice.
Oh, that's a big
See what
one.
I did there? What's that?
You still don't do the reverse, huh? Even though it actually makes more foam.
It doesn't make good enough foam to warrant the extra step, in my opinion. It does make a little bit better foam, but as you can see in the test, all of them were very good foams, except for the ones that were open gated poured. Those ones you can't do, you have to strain it. But I would argue that even though it's a little bit more, it's like a little bit more stable foam, and it is a little bit better foam.
A little bit more foam.
And a little bit more foam. Even though that's true, it's not different enough to really warrant the extra step in actually doing it from now on. I still don't think that it's enough of a difference, honestly. I picked a 14-ounce glass for this, and it says to add ice into this cocktail, but there's so much volume in this drink that I bet you I could use no ice in this cocktail, in this glass, and fill it at this point, because there's so much volume. It just created so much. I mean, it's 4 ounces. It's like 2 ounces rum, 2 ounces of the pineapple, and then basically 3/4, and then egg white. It created a ton of volume. We're gonna have to
also not think of any cocktail we've ever done that has egg white that you pour over ice.
Yes, I don't like it. This is another thing. I do not like doing egg white drinks that you pour over ice, although people do it. I do not like it. The extra dilution from the as it melts, the extra dilution kind of gets rid of the foam, and it's just, to me, it's not a good look. But there's so much volume here. The thing is that this is supposed to sit right there, and then we're supposed to pour rum in it and light it on fire. And so that's why it has ice in it, because something needs to support it.
You don't think the foam will?
No, the foam is gonna support this? I don't think so. Let's try. Let's try, because this is literally gonna fill this entire glass. Look at that. There's no way that is gonna be supported by...
I mean, it's basically a little passion fruit boat, isn't it?
Huh? Yeah, it's a little passion fruit boat. That's exactly what it is, and that's why it's probably called the Jack Sparrow, huh? You think? Ah! Now we're gonna put rum in it, though. And is the rum gonna make it fall? Here, let's taste the cocktail before we do all this, right? It's a pleasant cocktail. You know, passion fruit comes through really nicely. You know, you got the balance of the lemon and the sugar syrup, or the simple syrup. I don't know why I called it sugar syrup, but simple syrup. So that's really nice. It's a little bit tart. Obviously, the pineapple is kind of a major flavor profile there, but then on top of that, the Kraken kind of gives it a sweetness. It's like a sweet molassesy sort of flavor to it. It's a little bit saccharine on the finish, which I'm not crazy about, and in large quantities, I might not like it that much. This thing is sinking big time. So let's do this up, but it is good. It's a good cocktail. It's a little bit too sweet in a weird way for me, I think, but it is a really good cocktail. I think a lot of people will like it. The Jack Sparrow. Okay, let's do the fire effect, shall we?
Yep.
I'm gonna do a little bit of Lemon Heart 151. Now, he used another rum from Mallorca, I believe, but we don't have that available to us. There we go, a little bit of rum in there. I'm gonna take a match. There we go. It is on fire, although you can't see it. And then what you do is you take cinnamon to make the fire effect. That's like the tiki fire effect. The only problem is you get cinnamon all over your cocktail. There you have it, the Jack Sparrow. So you have it, guys, 3 amazing movie-themed cocktails created or submitted by our viewers. If you want to submit your own work, you can at theeducatedbarfly.com. And if you want to submit someone else's work, you can do that as well. But I just want to impress on you that you need to have all of the creation details and the bar that it belongs to correct for us to do it. We will do our best to double check to make sure that everything is right, because we want to make sure that we give good information here on The Educated Barfly. We want to make sure that all of the bartenders get credit for their really hard work. So I'll just say that. And yeah, I guess that's it. So if you like our channel, please hit like and subscribe. Check us out on Patreon and YouTube memberships. You can check us out at theeducatedbarfly.com, where we have articles, merch. We have a virtual bottle program. If you want to help the show out, you can buy us a bottle. We'll shout your name out, which is pretty cool. And it really helps us. It goes a long way to helping create the show. And I don't know, Marius, you got any parting thoughts?
Nope.
Any... Nothing? All right. Well, I guess we'll see you guys on another time then.